Yo, yo. Welcome in, everybody. How y'all doing? You're having a good evening. I'm doing all right myself. Got some Umineko to stream tonight, as usual. I think we only have like 2 or 3 streams left. I think we only have 2 or 3 streams left. Do some dolls while we wait for everybody to get in here. Let's see. Let's do death. That's not very helpful. Ruin. That doesn't have a D in it. Fire. What are you doing? Up. Oh. Iris. This is actually Cloud. That's right. Hey, let's go. Eliminated enough letters there. Connect me. Dorothy. Rose. Dorothy, Rose, Blanche. Wait. And Sophia? The Golden Girls. No. Are you kidding me? I'm mad. That's not okay. That's not okay, connections. Tweet about that, sorry. Hold on, I just saw what might be a good tweet or a bad tweet. But there's only one way to find out. Please tell me it didn't disappear forever. Crap, it might have disappeared forever. I hate when that happens, when you see a tweet that looks cool, and then you click away, or you like refresh your feed, and then you come back, and it disappears forever. Simply unforgivable. Let me see if I can find it. Hit me with a... I'm trying to find it. Wait. And now my feed is really screwed. Because in order to try to find that, I had to search for young Sheldon Riz. But it looked funny, but I can't find it now. Alright, let's get back to this. Keto, diet, Shaggy. How about blanch, boil, poach, and steam? Ways to cook an egg. Cook with heat and water. Okay. That makes me think that each of the Golden Girls are in one of the categories. Rose. Wallace. Charlie. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie. The Crave Rysair dailies. You missed me getting mad at this one, perhaps. The Golden Girls was not it. Soul. Hold on. Musk, Rose, Ambergris, and Vanilla. This like scents in fragrance. Yeah. And then we've got Dorothy, Charlie, Wallace, and Shaggy. Like title pro tags. Characters with pet dogs. And this one is really dumb. Rome, Keto, Soul, Sophia. Rome. Is this like homophones for cities or something? I hate this shit, man. I hate connections sometimes. Alright, Glengarry, Glen Ross. Coffee is for closers. And Match Point. Looks like Tom Hardy. And her name escapes me. I don't know why. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know why I couldn't think of... Oh, Brian Cox. Succession. You did not miss Pokedoku. It should be up here. Oh, no. I haven't done it yet. I exited some of them that I was like, I don't think I'm going to do well on these, but we'll give it a shot. All right, we got Al Pacino, Alec Baldwin, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey. We might have to go through the Kevin Spacey on this one because he's in a lot of stuff. And we're trying to get to... That is not Tom Hardy. Okay, so we're trying to get from someone to Skojo, probably. Could we do... Al Pacino, Scent of a Woman? Trying to get to Scarlett Johansson. Philip Seymour Hoffman, The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges, Tron. Is she in this? I don't know why I thought Scarlett Johansson was in this. Go back to Philip Seymour Hoffman. In the Hunger Games? Hunger Games. Jeffrey Wright also in Westworld. Og. Jack Quaid is in The Boys. J-Law. Oh, we can go this route. This is a long one, but we can get there. This is Black Widow. She's not in Black Widow. She's in Silver Linings Playbook. And that has Bradley Cooper, who's in Endgame, which has Skojo, which he's in Match Point. Yeah, very long path to get there. Going through the Endgame is kind of embarrassing. Think about it. But... we could have went Al Pacino, Captain, whatever. Pokedoku. Ghost, Kalos. Don't know where Kalos is. Is that where Mischievous is from? Psychic Ghost. Mythical Ghost. What's that? Marshadow is a mythical ghost, right? Yeah. Kalos is X and Y. Oh gosh, I'm screwed. Grass and mythical, that's Ogrpon. It's not. Oh, Celebi, probably. Yeah. Fairy and mythical. Give me a Togekiss. Gardevoir. Grass and Psychic. Magearna. What the hell is this thing? Huh? Looks like a Final Fantasy optional boss. I do know that mythical are Pokemon that you get VA bends. The thing is, I've never participated in a Pokemon. So. Psychic Grass. The weed. The psychic weed. Maybe like Chia. This thing. Psychic Ghost. Psychic Ghost. Psychic Ghost. Medium. Mime. Mr. Mime Geller. Eno. Yeah, Shamans. You got Deancy. You got Trevenant for your ghost from Kalos. Sylveon is fairy from Kalos, and Chespin is grass from Kalos. Little Executor is your grass psychic. That's one I probably could have gotten. I don't know if I could have gotten these other ones. Then Hoopa. And ones that I don't know at all. Box office game. October 26, 2007. Lionsgate. You know what? I'm just going to go out on a whim and say 300 here. Probably a little late for 300. Opening weekend. Opened pretty good. Tobin Bell. I don't recognize that name. You thought it was over, but the games have just begun. Hunger Games. No way. Jennifer Lawrence would be top billed in that. You thought it was over, but the games have just begun. This is Saw 2. I guess that wouldn't come... Oh, no, this is Halloween week. Saw 3. This is definitely Saw. Saw 4. Yep. Okay, we got there. Touchtone 11 milli. Opened pretty weak. Steve Carell 2007. The 40-year-old virgin. Steve Carell 2007. Is this some Steve Carell like Foxcatcher? Something's happened to Dan in real life. Hey, Dan. Sony Pictures fell off a cliff in its second week, so probably pretty bad. Josh Hartnett. They're Coming. Melissa George. Horror. Horror, They're Coming. They're Coming. Horror. Bad Horror. Bad Horror 2007. Jomo, thank you for the resub. Welcome back to the tournament staff. 9 months of support. I do appreciate it. You're doing well. Josh Hartnett sounds really familiar. What's he look? I don't want to look him up because it'll give me the movie. I thought I was going to do really good today, but I'm going to have to... This is the story of an isolated Alaskan town that is plunged into darkness for a month each year when the sun sinks below the horizon. As the last rays of light fall, the town is attacked by a bloodthirsty gang of vampires bent on an uninterrupted orgy of destruction. What is this movie? 30 Days of Night. Okay, I don't know. Then you love Got a Dip, updated Twitch iOS, and it's dog shit. Yeah, so true. Appreciate you stopping by in the resub, though. Have a good night. Catch you soon. Walt Disney in 2007. Before Wall-E. Before Wall-E. Tangled? Dwayne Johnson? This is not Moana. Is this The Tooth Fairy? That's not Disney. What else is The Rock in that's Disney? Madison Pettis. This might be the Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy. Tangled was later? Before Tangled? Half his size, twice the trouble, and she's moving in. This is that movie where he takes care of... He's like a football guy. Ah, he's like a football guy, and he takes care of his, like, daughter. Oh. What is this called? I can see it. I can see the poster. Bachelor football star Joe Kingman seems to have it all. Yeah. The Game Plan. Garbage-ass movie. Ruining my movie. My box office game. Lionsgate. Tyler Perry. Boo, a Medea Halloween. No. Because we complete each other's sentences. Why did I get married? Stupid ass movies. Okay. 53rd percentile, still not too bad though. Got absolutely ruined on 30 Days of Night, which I would have never gotten, and The Game Plan, which maybe I could have remembered. Daily Dozen. We already know these aren't going anywhere. Next. 1962 Ken Kelsey novel set in a psychiatric hospital was later... Oh, this is Cuckoo's Nest. Celebrity matchup. This is Zac Efron and Ariana Grande. No? It is Ariana Grande. That's not Zac Efron. Huh. Chain restaurants. White cheddar stuffed mushrooms, Flo's filet and lobster tail, and chocolate stampedes are items you'd get at what steakhouse chain? Is it Outback? No. TV. Earning 5 Emmy nominations and a win. What actress had the lead role in the hit? This was, The Closer. Was this Glenn Close? I feel like that's too on the nose, but I also feel like it's right. Okay. Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway starred in this 2008 action comedy film based on This Is Get Smart. Music. It starts in my toes and I crinkle my nose. Wherever it goes, this Colby Calais. This is Bubbly. This was Andrew Garfield. Dang it. I've been listening to... he was in a movie called Tick, Tick, Boom about a playwright whose name escapes me. And the soundtrack to that's pretty good. And he plays the lead in that. And I've been listening to that at work. So I feel like I should have known that. It is Longhorn. And this was Kyra Sedgwick. Sure. Vandal. 2000, 300 million views. Pretty popular in 2000. Every time I hear this, I always just want to go, Party Rock is in the house tonight. Early 2000s, like, synthy... Bloodhound Gang? That's a good guess. Oh, they don't have that one. Called The Bad Touch, just to be sure. What? Is this like Florida? Some like Timberlake shit or something. Oh, wait, what is this? Down. Is it Black Eyed Peas? Boom Boom Pow? No? Oh, I was so sure. What are my Black Eyed Peas options? This is... I don't care what anyone says. This is Boom Boom Pow. Oh, wait. Is that Punk? I don't think so. This music sounds better with you. I think this is the Daft Punk song. But I don't think it's any of these. Hold on. I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna move on to the next one. I gotta go to the next one. Ah, it's so tip of my tongue. This is the song. Yeah, right? And I'll be there for you as an option. Oh. Ah, I should have been able to get that one. All right. I had to do food guesser today because I think we're going back to my favorite place. We have fish on bread. It's fish on bread. This one's at least like fried. Brathering. Stuk. In Brockton. With pickle. Mm-hmm. This is like... I mean, I have to try. It's Sweden? Yeah, I was thinking something like Slavic. Called Fischbrochten. Germany? Germany. No thanks. I think I will pass on this one. We got... Oh, gosh, man. Sometimes these things look so nasty. Corn masa, salt, queso fresco, chorizo, potatoes. Like, this looks fine. The black beans do not look very good. I have to just go Mexico to start and see if we're going north or south or what, or how far south. It is just Mexico, okay. A person eating with fingers is kind of a... it's kind of not it. Molote. All right, and then we have... meat. Ham, cabbage, kale, onions, mustard seeds, crushed red peppers. Butter frying a large ham and spreading the mixture of finely chopped vegetables. This is why I come to Food Guesser, because the pictures are always so freaking outrageous. You know what? I'm going to go USA here. Maryland stuffed ham, baby. Because this is just an abomination. Stuffed ham, it's not steamed ham, stuffed ham, is a traditional dish from southern Maryland, particularly associated with St. Mary's County. This dish dates back to at least the 18th century and is particularly popular during holidays, such as Christmas and Easter. Yikes. 14K, we are above the curve today. We actually cooked. Let's go. Guess the audio. I want to say this is Sale. But I don't remember the guy's name. The one that goes... Sale. I don't know the guy's name, though. Looks like it's not even an option. Let's skip. There's like some operatic Gregorian chanting going on in the background there. 2020. 2020. I have no idea what this is. Alternative? Is this, Bon Iver. No clue. Brindle. I don't think I've ever heard this song. Framed. Man drives... Child. The mule. They're not even letting me pick it. Mule. Gran Torino. Man screaming while friend in Jersey holds him back, and there's like an explosion. What is this movie? Is this The Last Voyage? No. Is this Three Billboards? Clearly not. Policia. You got me. This is The Equalizer 3. Well, never seen that one. Bald and Bald. Looking like a Jurassic Park vibe. I don't know who any of these people are. Bob Odenkirk. Oh, this is Nobody. Yeah, that movie was okay. That's the only movie that I know that Bob Odenkirk is the lead. Decent movie. Bryce. What is the only country that borders both Bhutan and Laos? I don't know. Egypt. What is the only country that borders both Nepal and Vietnam? I don't know. Russia. What is the only country that borders both India and North Korea? China? It is China. Hey Zephyr, how's it going? For nearly 30 years, Raider was a European name for what Mars candy brand? Payday. 2 for me, none for you was the slogan that totally worked for what cookie bars? Twix. Liquor purus is better known as what gross bodily fluid? Urine. An abscess. Oh, pus. About to head out to a playtesting session for regionals this week. Ooh. Are you cooking or are you playing something? Or are you net decking? La Casa Azul was the family home of what self-portrait with monkey artist? Callow. Oh, we got there. Nice. James Eckhouse and Carol Potter played the parents of twins on the first 5 seasons of what TV show? Sister, Sister. Pasadena Rose County Diners, the stand-in for the Peach Pit, a hangout for the teens on what 90s show? Full House? Playing either tier 1.5 or 2. That's a good thing for regionals. Jason Priestley appeared in 92's SNL sketch about a zip cut. 90210. Europe, 9 points. That's the norm. There was one other game I wanted to try. It was Video Game Hurdle. This is Snake Eater. Yeah, I would know those drums anywhere. Banger. We'll let this one play. Try to get me with that. This is on the playlist. This is, oh my god, it's so loud. If anyone is going to be at Climax, Climax of Night, I'm so sure there's going to be karaoke, and I'm so sure this song is going to be played on karaoke. Everyone goes hard for this song. Huh? So good. Makes me want to play the Metal Gear Solid games on stream. I'm really bad at the Metal Gear Solid games, but they're so good. Abrupt end to that. All right. Umineko, When They Cry. We have reached the climax of episode 8. Everybody's fighting now. I was looking up some of the fighting game tech today for this game. And Angie looks really cool. She's a summoning character. So, just like Chaos. And then you see, we'll set it up so that among the works entered in Company X Mystery Novel Contest, yet another one of the great Hachijo's works will appear under a false name. Of course, we'll then move on with a movie version and a TV drama bundled in. We here at Company X would be honored to accept your manuscript. What? Okay, wait. I kind of forget the last thing that happened. It was Battler and Erica going at it, the last I remember. So, I guess we cut to this. And am I getting prize money out of this?
もちろんでございます。
But of course. The 10 million yen prize for Company X's first mystery novel contest will all go to you. And much more besides. Splendid. You've caught my interest. That's why I've decided not to write up a manuscript for you. Madam Hachijo, why? Everything had seemed to be going so smoothly up until then, so this sudden refusal made the people from the publishing company fall over in their sofa. This little scheme of yours is far more interesting than the manuscript I wrote. In that case, it wouldn't be fitting to hand it over to you. It was always a worthless story. I wanted to lure my ignorant readers into lauding it, making them feel as though they'd performed some magnificent reasoning. I was hoping that you children of men would realize the irony and laugh at your own mistake. But it looks like you've taken it seriously. Yes, I can say I'm ashamed of my own failures as a writer. Of course not. Please forgive us, please. Let us use your... I have no need for money, but some pet food would be nice. Pet food? Oh, for your cat. There was a rumor that you had a cat who liked dried plums. Yes, as you wish. Quickly, let's have a high-quality assortment of dried plums brought in here. She only eats the ones that are packaged separately, at 200 yen apiece. At this rate, she'll die of high blood pressure. She snacks on kimchi and spicy miso all the time, too. Really, there must be something wrong with that cat's tongue. The cat meowed an objection from where it lay on top of the bookshelf. I cannot give you this manuscript, but why don't I write up a new one for your company's contest? However, I won't write it under my name. It's estimated that thousands of manuscripts will be sent in for your contest. If you manage to pick mine out from the pack, and if you also find it deserving of the prize, I would be happy to continue the discussion we're having. How does that sound? Ha ha ha! Just the honor of receiving your manuscript is more than enough. You people truly are amusing, fawning and cringing all the time. But I've grown weary of this for today. Leave now. Meeting with children of men can be so tiring. We are deeply grateful for your kindness in allowing us this meeting. A servant guided the people from the publishing company to the door. In the study that was now finally quiet, Hachijo Toya let out a sigh, slumped down in the sofa and gazed at the ceiling. It is tiring, but the stimulation of talking with a child of man isn't such a bad thing. In small doses. It's good for you to talk to people every now and then. You'll go senile if you stay shut in all the time. The black cat leapt from the bookshelf and landed softly on the carpet. Then its form silently twisted and became that of Berncastel. Indeed, they certainly can be entertaining. Inviting them over now and then may go a long way towards alleviating my boredom. At any rate, I think I will write the manuscript, when I feel like it. It sounds like they'll even bring a gift for you. What's all this about pet food? How rude. Oh, that is what it is. Here. Hachijo picked up a jar from the shelf and then took a dried plum out and threw it into the air. In an instant, Berncastel turned back into a black cat, caught it in midair, and started munching away. Madam Hachijo, your guests have departed. A servant knocked on the door before making this announcement. Thank you. Let me know if that one wakes up. As you wish. Would you like some tea? No. I'm gonna write for a bit. Please do not disturb me. Yes, ma'am. After waiting for the servant's footsteps to disappear into the distance, Hachijo moved to her desk. The desk certainly looked as though it belonged to a great writer, with pages of manuscript scattered across it. Even though the century is almost over, you still write with a pen? The black cat spoke as it tore the dried plum apart with its mouth. Tales are to be written with ink. To me, that's an unbreakable rule. So you write once with ink, then type the whole thing over again with a keyboard? Pretty stupid doing the same thing twice. In that case, why does a child of man draw up a tale in their mind, then spit the whole thing out again on a keyboard? How foolish of them to do the same thing twice. Look at it that way, and you're doing the same thing 3 times. That was a good one. Even as Hachijo laughed, her fountain pen was already sliding across the page. Beautiful letters appeared, almost as fast and proficiently as a typewriter. Only humans called her creations manuscripts. With her fountain pen and writing paper, she was creating a world. As she did, the hands of the clock would spin around like a top. The light and shadows that came in through the window changed their angle so fast, they might have been the hands of the clock themselves. Slowly, she drew a large X across the tightly packed words on a paper.
気乗りしないの?
Having trouble.
うまく書けぬ.
I can't draw it out well. Writing a manuscript to please people is truly a pain. After all, I don't usually write for other people to read.
あんた
You should try writing down whatever it is you're saying on that manuscript paper.
いっぺん原稿用紙
Bernkastel curled up on the sofa, a mocking smile on her face. Normally, whenever Hachijo was writing, Bernkastel would never let herself be noticed, much less talk to her. However, Bernkastel realized the other was apparently getting bored with her manuscript, so she yawned and started talking.
何を書いてるの?
What is it you're writing anyways?
人の子に捧げ
A
る
tale to give to a child of man.
どこの人の子?
Which child of man?
我に朗読を
It's a tale I promised to write for Umineko, who once read for me.
あ
Ah,
あまだ書いて
you're
る
still writing that?
何を書けばあれは満足するの
I can't think of anything to write
私には
that would give her satisfaction.
またあうあう
Looks like Ao Ao's giving up yet
あ
again.
んたはいつで
You
も
always promise to write a story, then get stuck before you're finished and give up.
投げ出さぬ
If
か
I had given up, I wouldn't be worrying over it like
エン
this.
ジが望む
There's only one tale that Angie wanted from the beginning.
未知なる真
The
実
tale of the single truth.
エンジは
Angie said she wanted to know what happened that day.
それを
No matter how many tales you write distorting that truth, she'll never be satisfied.
未知なる真実
And yet, I do think my tales are far more interesting than the single truth.
エンジは
Angie doesn't want to read an interesting tale.
私はあの人の子に
I promised that child of man I would write a tale for her sake,
だから私
so I'm writing a tale to please
は
her.
どんなに面白かろ
No matter how interesting or uninteresting it is,
あんたが書く
everything you write is an
エン
illusion.
ジは
Angie doesn't want any of that.
まだわかんない
Haven't you figured that out yet?
未知なる真実の
The Book of the Single Truth was written by Ushiromiya Eva. Hidden amongst the pile of writing paper was Ava's diary.
そして必死
Furthermore, the one who wrote this passed away without revealing it to anyone.
私は物
Being the humble writer that I am, I would like to
それを
respect
尊
that.
重したいと笑わせないで
Don't make me laugh.
物語の
Is that coming from the person who entertains herself by taking a tale and tearing out its guts?
真実な
The
ど
truth is uninteresting.
いくつもの物語
Is that your opinion after tearing apart the guts of so many tales?
そういうこと
You might as well say that. With a self-mocking laugh, Hachijo set down her fountain pen.
私は老いた
I certainly have
老い
aged.
て最初に理
The
解
first
した
thing
の
age
は
taught me was that not knowing is more precious than knowing.
年寄り臭そうな
That
話
definitely sounds like something an old person would say, but sure, I'll bite.
どういう意味
What do you mean?
知ることと
Knowing and not
この
knowing.
二つは
These two things have a one-way relationship.
そうね
That's true.
知らぬから
It's possible to switch from not knowing to knowing, but you can't do it the other way around.
知れないそれを理解
When I realized that, I saw the noble purity resembling virginity that exists in not knowing.
私は
In my attempts to escape boredom, I've torn apart and eaten the guts of as many games and tales as there are stars in the sky.
しかしいつ
But always, my relief from boredom is short-lived.
一瞬で
It's also fleeting that I've started to ignore each tale as an individual
私の方
story.
の物語をそうね
That's right.
猫を
If you eat a cat, then you only get to enjoy it for one night.
でも生かして
But if you let it live, it might start calling you names and getting sarcastic.
皮肉をそうだな
Indeed.
勝手に貸しだな
Even the annoying way they break into your sweet cupboard or sneak into your bed can be part of their
恥ずか
charm.
しいのも
Hachijo looked around at the books covering every square inch of the room, then softly petted the cat's back.
私は一つ
I might have been able to enjoy a single tale much longer and much more
退
deeply.
屈から逃れ
As I've eaten my way through countless tales to escape boredom, I haven't really been eating them.
ただ殺して
I've just been killing them.
結局は
And in the end,
それが
they'll
私
kill
を
me back.
殺すのだ
Hachijo laughed with
ベアと
self-derision.
のゲームだって
Even in Beato's game, you tried to tear the guts out.
答え合わせを希望しただけ
I just wanted to check my answers.
物語の
I did try to do it in a way that respected Beatrice, the weaver of that tale.
形としてそうね
Yeah.
わかんないやつ
I think it was pretty well read, all done so that people who didn't understand wouldn't figure it out. Will it make for a better tale if Angie learns the truth? Or if she doesn't? To be honest, I don't know anymore. So fully aware that you'll scorn me for it, I've decided to stop writing the rest of this tale. What do you mean? I won't write it. I will merely record it. The tale that Ushimiya Angie weaves herself. So you're gonna do that sort of thing again? After growing tired of 1,000 years of life, I've decided that choosing not to know the truth is the more noble path. However, I now see that it isn't fair to force my opinion on Angie, who hasn't even lived 100 years. So, you're gonna leave it in Angie's care? Yes. I will silently record it as it plays out. If you're leaving it to Angie, then the rest of this tale is pretty much set in stone, right? It would seem that way. Let it be so. After all, in the end, a tale that a child of man weaves for herself will be more fun than any story I could create. In that case, why don't you lend a hand in Angie's tale? You've already given yourself a role in it, haven't you? So is my role just to bring the tale to its conclusion? Come on, that's no way for someone in Beto's game to talk. It's your job to tear the guts out of that cat box. Hachijo chuckled, pushed aside the pile of writing paper, and picked up the Book of the Single Truth. Then she opened a locked drawer. This is what Angie desires. Perhaps this book's seal is fated to be broken. Angie will reach the single truth. The single truth will break the seal in the cat box, and everything will then be exposed to the light of day. And so, all of these countless message bottles and fragments made up of delightful imaginings, which have been scattered across the ocean of the internet, will fade away like foam on the sea. After all, even that person is surely tired of such fragments. It's about time for that kid's journey to end too. Yes, let us accept this task. As our role demands, let's give this journey an end of the line. At that moment, there were sounds of someone in the hallway. The instant someone knocked on the door, Baron Castell turned back into a black cat. Madam Hachijo, please forgive me for interrupting. It's the voice of Hachijo's servant. What's up? If it's a phone call, tell them I'm busy. It's not that. Toya has woken up. Thank you. Prepare a light meal. Enough for the two of us. As you wish. Toya? Isn't she Toya? Hachijo stood up. Then she shut the open drawer and locked it again. Inside that drawer lay a glittering golden key. Ooh. Repeat it. The definition of a closed room prevents all varieties of entering and exiting. I refuse. By definition, it's impossible for a closed room murder to take place inside a perfectly closed room. The chain might have been repaired after it was destroyed. The door might have been repaired after it was destroyed. The wall might have been repaired. My closed room doesn't involve anything being repaired. Good. This really is getting fun, Battler. Sorry, but I don't have time to play with you right now. I'm sorry, too. But as a fellow Witch of Truth, I can't let you get in Angie's way. Come to think of it, you're a Witch of Truth too, huh? I guess that makes you a sort of mentor to Angie. The single truth. It's the supreme, the ultimate. Only a Witch of Truth can break down all barriers that stand between her and the truth. Is this single truth of yours really so important? There are lots of things in this world that aren't worth knowing. How important is 1986 to Angie, really? It isn't important at all. You're probably right. No matter what happened or didn't happen in 1986, it won't change anything for the Angie living in 1998. There's no point in learning that truth. However, there is just one thing that will change. Yeah, what's that? How she lives. Erika transformed her reasoning into a scythe's blade and lashed out at Battler over and over. Battler also created a blade from his reasoning and attacked Erika over and over. In the middle of all this, he questioned Erika, the girl who, like Angie, called herself a Witch of Truth. Just what is the point of exposing the truth? You're right. Knowing often changes how a person lives her life. In that case, I have one hope as her blood relative. I hope that, at the end of my game, Angie finds a better way to live her life.
知ることで
Knowing may change how people live, but not always in a good direction. There are plenty of things in this world that you'd be more comfortable not knowing. The number of ticks living in the seats on a train. The urban legends about nasty stuff in the tap water. The world's full of things you'd be better off not knowing. The Book of the Single Truth probably can teach Angie what happened on this island. But what's the point of her knowing that? It'll just increase the sadness she's felt for 12 years. How many more years will it take for her to find happiness as an ordinary girl? How many years will it take for her wounds to finally be healed? Angie's desire to find the truth is hurting her, regardless of what the truth actually is. Though her deep wounds were slow to heal, they did begin to do so during those 12 years. However, Angie kept picking at the scabs. In her search for the truth, she tore at those wounds herself, opening them up once more. It's time for Angie to be free of the sadness of 1986. That's what all of us Ushirimiyas pray for.
知ったこっちゃ
Who cares about that?
真実こそ
The truth is everything. The truth is justice. It's a disease that everyone gets at least once, usually in middle school. They just love to find out all those things the adults are hiding.
それを暴
You don't think it's fun to expose things like that? Oh yeah, totally. Reading dirty books wouldn't be nearly so fun if you didn't have to do so in secret. Oh, they're having a blast. I deny all your blue wedges with the red truth. None of the methods you suggested could defeat my closed room. Angie was breathing heavily. The Book of the Single Truth was right before her eyes. If she could just defeat Beto, she'd be able to take the book to Bernkastel and she could read what was inside. Even though the truth of the final family conference on October 4th and 5th of 1986 was right there, the Golden Witch stood in her way. Her anger and hatred spun around inside her head, wiping out the composure necessary to theory-making. Angie shook her head several times, clearing away everything that got in the way of calming her mind. However, no matter how many times she thought it through, the closed room sealing her in the chapel was perfect. Angie wasn't particularly familiar with the mystery genre. However, she knew about all the fragments containing Beto's games so far. Her knowledge was shallow, so it should still have been enough to give her a good foothold. However, no matter how many blue truths she shot at Beto, none of them even made the witch flinch. Beto just blew them apart with the red truth and an elegant wave of her pipe. It's about time you gave up. I don't even view this as a game between the two of us. Are you implying that I could never solve this puzzle? I'm just buying time until Battler finishes dealing with Erika. He's the only one who can bring you to your senses.
頭を冷やす
Bring me to my senses.
あんたたちが
You're the ones making me do this by hiding the single truth.
だから
That's why I'm fighting you. This is my right.
私には
As the final member of the Ushirimiya family, I have a right to know the truth.
そうだ
Indeed. And that is the purpose of this final game.
そうね
That's right.
この最後
Without this final game, I wouldn't have been given a chance to reach the truth.
その点について
At least for that one thing, I am grateful. But as for what happened in 1986, as for who took your relatives and your family away from you, as a human, your desire to know the truth is quite natural. However, even knowing this, Battler decided that it would be best if you didn't return to 1986.
お兄ちゃんの言い
I know what Oni-chan's trying to say. He's telling me to look to the future and live, instead of being stuck in the past, right?
そうだ
Correct.
それをバ
Battler wanted us to use this final game to show you that.
なら
In that case, there's no need to keep waiting for my answer. The answer is no, Golden Witch. I died back in 1986. I've wandered about like a ghost for 12 years since then.
そしてエヴァ
And when Aneva died, I lost my only reason to stick around to this earth as a ghost.
だから
That's why I decided to do one last thing before ending my life.
それが
And that thing is learning the truth of 1986.
そうよ
Yeah.
悪い
Got a problem with that?
ああ
Of course I do, foolish girl. So if you do reach the truth, you'll die. In that case, I can't let you have it. I must trick you and blind you as much as I can to keep you alive.
バトラは
Battler wants you to live.
生きること真実
Living without truth is no better than dying.
私は生き
I'm trying to find the truth so I can live.
そなたは
You just admitted that you were searching for the truth so you could die.
ああそうね
Yeah, that's right.
じゃあ言い直す
Then let me rephrase that.
私は
I'm trying to find the truth so I can die.
そして
I offered up my life when I made my contract with Bernkastel. And so I could learn what happened that day. That single truth will be the souvenir I take with me to hell. It's useless. You cannot break this closed room. This closed room is perfect, and yet I will kill you in this closed room. She had tried every theory, idea, and every bit of nonsense she could think of. However, none of it had any effect on Beto. Powerless and frustrated, with the book of the single truth right before her eyes, Angie bit her lower lip. At first, this was supposed to be a game in which you were given a key that would let you decide your future. Liar. You wanted to hide the truth in this chapel, then make me choose a door that leads to some optimistic future. That's not a choice. You're trying to decide for me. Parents have the right to prevent their children from making unsuitable choices. But I'm not a kid. I'm an 18-year-old woman who can think and act for herself. Fool. You're just a 6-year-old girl who can't think of anything except the past. And whose fault is that? Because of you, I've been stuck as a 6-year-old all this time. Now it's time for me to tear apart your illusion covering the truth. Yes. Now that I think about it, it's not that this chapel that you've locked me inside. Since that day in 1986, for all those years, you've had me locked away in a closed room where I'm all alone, and where no one will tell me the truth. And now I'll tear your closed room apart with my own hands. Yeah, it's useless. It's all useless. I know the trick to your perfect closed room. Repeat it. You murdered me immediately after shutting me into this closed room. I refuse. Of course. You've been killing me for 18 years. Thanks, Beatrice. If you hadn't reminded me, I wouldn't have figured out the trick. Angie, you are young, and you have a long future ahead of you. In fact, you are the Golden Witch who lives in the future, are you not? Then live on in the future. Just how much are past truths really worth? Don't they pale in comparison to the truth of the future? The truth that you create yourself? My life is trash. My whole family died, leaving just me behind. That's why I'm going back to them once I've gotten my single truth. If you learn the truth, you'll have to accept your family's deaths. Haven't you ever thought about living on, hoping that by some miracle one of them might have survived, and that someday you might get a chance to see them again? I'm not worried about that. Even the Witch of Miracles couldn't find a fragment like that. In the Great Rokkenjima explosion, almost none of the family's remains were discovered. Some days, I hoped this might be a sign that they escaped the explosion and survived. That hope gave me strength to live on. However, that hope wasn't strong enough to support me for 12 long years. So even though I wanted to know the truth, I unconsciously averted my eyes. I felt that learning of my family's deaths for certain would force me to deny any possibility of someone miraculously surviving. But I'm tired of living on, with nothing but that impossible hope of a miracle keeping me going. That's why I decided to accept my family's deaths. I decided to accept the truth, no matter what it is. That's why I became a Witch of Truth. How foolish to be blinded by the truth of the past and unable to see one's own future. Forgive me, Battler. I was not strong enough to guide your sister properly. A blazing blue wedge appeared in Angie's hand. It was long, thick, and shaped like a spear. This is the end, Witch of 1986. The closed room is perfect. Therefore, I can't get out, and you can't lay a finger on me from the outside. However, you locked me in this room. So we can say you killed me with that simple trick. You shut me in this perfectly closed room and made me starve to death. Since you intentionally did this, it's totally fair to say this is a closed room murder with you as the killer. It looks like being overly vague with the cause of death backfired on you. So long, Witch of Illusions. See you in hell. That's a pretty good closed room murder, though. Oh, this song's so good. With the stained glass window behind her, Beto spread her arms and let the spear of the blue truth pierce her. The blue spear seemed to crucify Beto against the window. Game set. So this is on Ava's diary, the book of the single truth. Angie picked the book up from where it lay on the altar, sealed in crystal. If you read that, then by your contract with Burnt Castell, you will die. Learning that truth just to die? Ridiculous. That's right. I'm looking for the truth so I can die. At least let me choose how I go. I'm not an idiot. I know the real me is still floating in that starry sky. Baron Castell acknowledged me as the final Beatrice and invited me to join me on a journey to learn the truth of 1986. I won't be able to return here again. When Baron Castell told me that I walked off the roof into the black sky, I followed her into the empty air. That was the contract. I wanted two things from Baron Castell. One was for someone from my family to come back. The other was revenge. I wanted to destroy the illusion of the witch that hid the events of that day. I wanted to reach the truth. However, the first of my wishes couldn't come true. After all, even the Witch of Miracles couldn't find a fragment where my family came home. So, she wordlessly questioned me. She told me that I couldn't reach the truth unless I had the courage to end this worthless life, where I lived like a ghost, hoping someone might come back. Then, she walked out into the open air and I followed her. Yes, now I can understand. When I offered to trade away my life, I made one wish and gave up on another. I wished for revenge against the illusion holding the truth. And now, I've succeeded in that revenge, defeating the master of that illusion and obtaining the Book of the Single Truth. What I gave up was my naivety, my continuing belief that someone from my family might come back. And now I can accept that my entire family is dead. Can you make someone alive just because no one knows any different? These cat boxes you talk about are just naive delusions. The idea that a corpse can live as long as you keep it hidden. But even if you hide a corpse, it's still dead. Do you really think you can heal my wounds by saying they'll always be watching over me from the clouds? Like some kind of fairy tale? I'm Angie Beatrice, a witch of truth. I'll free myself from that life as a ghost, waiting for a miracle that'll never happen. I'll end my life as a noble martyr who's reached the truth. Didn't you once come to understand the power of magic through Maria's grimoire? Yeah, I understood it. And then I despaired when I realized how powerless it truly was. And that's what Oni-chan is trying to force me to use now, isn't it? If I believe, if I use magic, then my family will always be by my side. Don't take me for a fool. You think that kind of magic, an illusion, a daydream, can heal those 12 years? And how am I supposed to go on for decades and decades into the future? Someone come back to me. Someone? But no one's coming back. So at least tell me what happened on that day. Baron Castell said she'd tell me. My master, I have the Book of the Single Truth. I'll take it back to you, so give me the truth. For so long I've been prepared to throw away my naive hopes for a miracle. Now tell me the truth of that day. A blinding light poured out of the chapel. It seeped from the windows and the cracks of the door, even reaching as far as Battler and Erika's eyes. What? It seems Comrade Angie has completed her task. It looks like you've set up some pathetic seal, but to my master, that'll be easier than thawing frozen, soury fish. Damn. Master said I could play with you until Angie finished her task. I've had enough fun from this reunion, so I think it's time for me to leave. Erika gave an elegant curtsy. Why did you talk Angie into looking for the single truth? Your master must know. That truth doesn't mean anything to Angie. Yes, all truths in this world are meaningless. In the end, meaning comes from the mind of each individual human. Even when there is a single truth, it can mean different things to different people. The truth has no meaning in and of itself. That's just one reason why I'm still stuck in the truth despite it all. Because you're the detective. Good. But Angie is not a detective. To her, the truth is the finish line. A way to mark the end of her unhappy life. Now she's finally finished the final purification ceremony. She's a one-night witch of truth, focused on learning a single truth before she dies. A temporary witch for the short time until she slams against the ground. I won't let Angie die. No matter how tough it gets, she has to live. That's the only thing all of us want. If she lives, all sorts of magic and miracles would be possible. If only you had put your arm around her shoulder and told her that directly, you might not have lost. What do you think? Just by hearing you howl, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erika. He yelled towards the chapel, but Angie probably wasn't even there anymore. Battler's yell was swallowed by the empty, pitch-black sky and the sea of rampaging goats.
どうし
Comrade Ava, our mission is complete. Let's withdraw. Oh, are we done already? And I was just about to tear the island apart with my own Ava culprit theory. Ava appeared in midair and cackled. Sorry, Battler. I wasn't strong enough. For 12 years, I protected that kid in my own way. I'm grateful. However, she's decided this one for herself. She's 18 years old now. Don't you think people should decide how they live their own lives? Sorry for being a doting big brother. Later. I'm Lady Berncastell's piece at the moment. It's time for me to go. I'll see you later, Comrade Ava. Ava held her palm open and a small pointy blue fragment appeared there. The fragment burst, and with a blinding flash of light, Ava vanished. It was the same light that had seeped out of the chapel earlier. Pieces cannot leave the game board. However, the Voyager wishes alone could come and go. This was probably some sort of magic that Berncastel had given them. Erica opened her palm as well, and the same sort of fragment appeared there. That's enough for now, I think. Who knows? This might be the last time we meet. Wait, we haven't settled our fight yet. If he could steal the fragment in Erica's hand, he would be able to go to where Berncastel was. The seal surrounding the Book of the Single Truth would probably be melted easily with Berncastel's power. However, even so, it would take her some time. If he could steal that fragment, he would have a chance at bringing Angie back. What is there to settle? Time's up. However, if you feel like taking one last hint, I'd be happy to oblige. Battler had known that Erica wouldn't be able to resist the challenge. After all, he already knew what her trick was. He'd figured it out just a second ago. Even when he spoke with Erica, he had been thinking about it inside his mind. He could finish her with this last strike, and then take the fragment. Let's go, Erica. This'll decide it. This clash will be the last before I go. So go ahead and give me the craziest of your hilarious theories. Your closed room definition stated that the walls, windows, floor, and ceiling and chain were all unbeatable. However, there was one possibility that I didn't check, because it was too ridiculous. And that was whether or not the chain could be set from the outside. Blue Truth. This is the answer to your closed room. The length of the chain. The chain for your closed room was extra long, so it was possible to set and unset it from outside the room. What a ridiculous answer. However, if you blindly assume that a lock made by an unbreakable chain makes a closed room unbeatable, then this truly would be a perfect closed room. The blue wedge flung from Battler's hand plunged straight into Erica's chest. As she winced in pain, her hand shook, and the fragment she held flew into the air. Your closed room definition stated that the walls, windows, floor, door, and chain were all unbeatable. However, wasn't there one really ridiculous thing missing? The roof? Is there no roof? Blue Truth. Your closed room has no ceiling, so it was possible to enter by climbing over the wall. Erica's blue scythe swung out from behind her back, catching Battler on the side, and he stretched his hand out towards the fragment. Battler's hand didn't reach it. The fragment returned to Erica's hands once more. It looks like our tricks were equally ridiculous. The mystery nuts would have been furious, don't you think? But I disagree. To me, the process of exposing that ridiculousness is ecstasy. That's why I'm Furudo Erica, the detective. Damn it. You figured out the answer a while back, didn't you? Not true. I thought it up between the time you let loose your Blue Truth and the time you stretched your hand to grab the fragment. I'd just been buying time since the beginning. I only started reasoning a second ago. Erica broke the crystal barrier that surrounded them. Then she flew high up into the sky, looking down on Battler and laughing as she gave a final bow. A bow, excuse me. So long, Battler. Even if this has been my only time to shine, even if I've outlived my youthfulness and am about to be thrown back into the depths of oblivion, even so, I have no regrets. Wait. Like she'd actually wait just because I told her to. With a blinding flash, Erica vanished. Angie had retrieved the Book of the Single Truth and returned to Berncastel. Battler and the others had no way to leave the game board. Everything had come to an end. A gold butterfly flitted by and Beato appeared. My apologies, Battler. I let Angie get away. I'm sorry too. We've let them escape. It's all over. Battler had created this game for Angie. Now that Angie was gone, the game board no longer had any purpose. And even if it hadn't been the case, the game board itself had been chewed to bits by the goats, and was now like a single leaf floating on a sea of nothingness. Thanks to Gertrude and Cornelius' seals, the mansion was protected from the second floor up. The door to the Golden Land was now open wide enough for a child to slip through. The smaller people, like Maria and Sakutaro, went through it. My friends, I believe the door is opening at a quicker pace. Indeed. To my eyes as well, it seems to be so. Father, is the door open yet? It looks like they're about to break in through the windows. Kraus, there is no need for you to fear. Eisenjungfrau barrier is not so easily broken. Very soon, it'll be big enough for the adults to go through as well. Don't worry, we'll make it in time. But there's knocking and banging everywhere, and... Stay calm and wait. After all, there's nothing else we can do. Even the outer walls of the mansion were covered with goats, and they were plunging their fangs and fists into the walls and windows, trying to crush them. So anyone watching the goats stuck to the windows in the hallway, smashing their thick arms against the windows, couldn't help but be terrified, even if they knew about the barrier. However, anyone watching the group of goats gathered at the top of the big staircase on the other side of the barrier would probably feel a different emotion. Rather than terror, it was sad, empty sort of emotion. The barrier was drawn across the landing at the top of the hall's great staircase. Beyond that barrier, everything had already been eaten away. Was it even possible for those who stood in the hallway of the upper floors to believe that this was the Rokkenjima mansion? By now, no one looking at this scene would be able to imagine such a thing. Forget the hall or even the whole first floor. Even the ground itself was almost gone. The sea of goats had eaten everything apart long before this. They had eaten apart the hall, the pillars of the mansion, the floor, the ground, the sea, the very concept of the island. Every part of the game board Battler had created. And now the only leftover was the upper part of the mansion, which floated along in empty space. How pitiful. To what do you refer? The goats, in their eagerness to chew this island apart, have eaten up even the ground they stand on, dropping themselves into nothingness. This had once been a huge entrance hall. Beyond it had been a vast rose garden. There had been so many places to stand upon. However now, holes had been dug everywhere, and nearly everything outside the mansion was completely gone. Some goats were clutching to the few remaining footholds and pillars, still eating away at them. Let it be known that exposing the truth is murder. Why can't humans live without killing, I wonder? Throughout their long history, so many have prayed for miracles. But in the end, they eat up their own chances at receiving them, eating up the very ground they stand on and falling into the abyss. They saw a goat chewing the same pillar that was holding it up, which, unsurprisingly, fell into empty blackness along with the goat. Humans are sad creatures, fated to live in order to learn. If learning means eating away at the same hopes and dreams that keep you alive, that would mean humans are born just so they can die. We're taught that we have to live. However, almost everything that we accomplish in life ends up killing us. Don't think about it. You'll just get a headache. As a single human, I want to ask, is learning a sin? Is living in ignorance the only way we can have hopes and dreams? Both living with knowledge and living in ignorance have their benefits, as well as their shortcomings. You're even free to choose which path you take. That's what makes humans powerless. While people can learn, they cannot unlearn. And so the all-knowing God has stepped in for the sake of humans who cannot unlearn, making out things that should be learned and things that should not. Too much curiosity can kill your hopes and dreams. Humans are pitiable beings who are unable to simply avoid those things which should not be learned. Lord Battler can hardly be blamed for failing to teach Angie this. And now Angie's gone. This game is over. Struck dumb by Will's words, everyone fell silent. Only the sound of the goats eating everything away rang out hollowly. Even if they escaped to the Golden Land, the goats of emptiness would probably chew into that realm as well. Even if they got away for the time being, nothing would be resolved. It was all set in stone now. They had no way to resist the future's violent attempts to tear the cat box of the past open. In that case, we must stay alive. If a human's foolishness makes them throw away their own hopes and dreams in the end, then I want to believe in those things until the last second. Your resolve is impressive. I'm the only hope held by Beatrice of a million worlds. So, even at times like this, I have to be everyone's hope. I'm not giving up on this game yet. By which you mean, I'll keep waiting. I'll keep believing in a miracle until the last second. So you'll keep struggling on and on until it's all over? That's right. After all, last time, when we were surrounded by that pack of terrifying cats, we were prepared for death, weren't we? But Lambda Delta saved us. If we had given up, if we hadn't had the strength to believe in a miracle, then I'm sure we would have been erased before help could come. Well, it's not like I really saved you. More like, Fern just failed to kill you properly. Or it might have been some whim of hers. A miraculous whim from the Witch of Miracles. How long had she been there? Lambda Delta was leaning on the handrail of the staircase, eating popcorn. She held the cup of popcorn out, but Leon declined the offer. Valor told us. He said Angie made a contract by which she would learn the truth in exchange for her own life. Going by your conversation just now, that was no contract. After all, living and seeking the truth so they can die is what humans do anyways, right? In other words, Angie had spent all of her life trying to learn the truth. All Byrne did was shorten the time to a single instant. When Angie lost her hopes and dreams, she stopped valuing her own life. How could she be given hopes and dreams again? What can be done to help her find a reason for living? Are you asking me? I'm paper, right? Double-twisted, curly, super paper. I don't understand complicated stuff. After tossing the last bits of popcorn into her mouth, Lambda Delta threw the empty cup into the abyss of nothingness. Baron wasn't really pushing that kid to do something she didn't want. She was giving Angie a chance. Or should I call it a choice? Then Angie made the choice she wanted, appeared on the game board, and now in her game against Battler, she's making her own choices again. From start to finish, Angie's game has always belonged to Angie. Right now, I'm just a casual observer. So, not a particularly enthusiastic observer. Maybe. It's a play with an obvious ending, so I've decided I might as well take my leave. You mean you'll stop watching a play just because you think you know how it'll end? Even though it might reach a climax you didn't expect? Lambda Delta licked her salty fingers, then she stared at Leon challengingly and grinned. I know that Angie's game won't end this way. I know Battler's feelings will reach her. She'll understand that he wants her to live in a better future, and she'll choose that future of her own accord. I'm certain that's how this tale will end. Huh? Are you talking to me, the Witch of Certainty, and saying that the outcome is certain? That's right. I guarantee it. Angie's game won't end like this. So please don't leave your seat. We won't leave either. There must be something we can do. And that will surely lead her to a better future. This tale will definitely have a happy ending. So, keep watching until the end. I beg you. Even though I've already announced as the Witch of Certainty that this tale will not have a happy ending, the definition of a happy ending is something everyone watching gets to decide for themselves, right? For a while there was a tense silence. With a confident gaze that seemed to be saying, "Are you serious?" Lambda Delta stared at Leon. However, Leon's eyes didn't even twitch. For some time, they both stared into the other's eyes without flinching. Suddenly, Lambda Delta let out a large sigh and stretched. Well, I have nowhere better to be. Sure. I'll stick around a bit longer. If you give me some more popcorn, that is. I'm feeling like caramel this time. If you come to the Golden Land, we'll serve you as much as you like. Lambda Delta waved at them with a thin smile. No one was quite sure what this meant, but it apparently signified her surrender in her own way. Okay. If you'll guarantee your own flavor of happy ending with certainty, then I, the great Lambda Delta, will stick around for a while longer. See how big my heart is? As wide as Lake Biwa.
微妙に狭い。
That's pretty thin, actually. And as gentle as the Sea of Japan. It's a very rough sea. Please, allow us to speak. It would seem she meant it the other way around. There was some muffled laughter. Lambda Delta is the witch who gives strength to those who possess unshakable willpower. Leon believed in a happy ending, and that certain enthusiasm might have been enough to earn a small miracle from Lambda. You'd better not let me get bored, okay? If you do, I'll leave right away. Of course. I'm sure Battler will be glad to welcome you as well. Leon understood. In order to fight back against Baron Castell, who had taken Angie outside the board, they would need the power of another who was capable of leaving the board. Their last hope was to make sure that Lambda Delta didn't abandon this game. However, judging by Lambda Delta's expression as she hummed to herself cheerily, actually asking her for help was probably going to be a problem. Look, Zephyr, everything from the first floor down is gone. What a spectacle. Not a sight you see every day. How have matters progressed upstairs? Alright, we came here to tell you that. Hey everyone, sorry to keep you waiting. They say the door to the Golden Land has opened. Finally. Let's go. This place will not be safe for long. Everyone who had been sitting on the staircase got up. I guess this is goodbye, Rokenjima the Beautiful. True. It may be a shadow of its former self, but this is the last time we'll see it, isn't it? What's with the gloomy attitude? Come on, show me, okay? Let's see a happy ending. Yeah, I would like to see a happy ending. The Book of the Single Truth was sealed in crystal by Battler. Until this seal is undone, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. You can remove this, right? Oh, just as a heads up, I'm going to do one more chapter tonight. There's not a ton left, and I also want to make sure I get enough sleep for like work and stuff. So we're only going to do one more chapter tonight, and then probably like 2 chapters at a time until we finish, because there's only like 5 or 6 chapters left. You can remove this, right? Of course. They were in a vast, dimly lit space. To sum it up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. No, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that existed in the world of humans. Height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely be giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like walls of a valley, or rather a deep-sea ocean trench. So Angie and the others looked like little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library, like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean pit. This is more like ice than a seal. If you just steal it away from Battler and put it under the rays of the sun, it will fade away by itself as time passes. Isn't there a way to just smash it open? Do you thaw your frozen fish by smashing it with a hammer? Sorry, I was always terrible at cooking. Kitties, thaw this seal. Oh. And Baron Castell whispered from the dark ocean pit deep below them. Several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Baron Castell threw the Book of the Single Truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carry it away. These few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Angie was once again dumbfounded by this unimaginably vast and godly library. We can just let them handle the rest. You really will let me see what's inside? If that is your wish, I'll grant it. And of course, I won't be able to read it myself without that key of yours. Angie silently grasped the golden key in her pocket. The journey had been so long and so strange. In search of the truth from 12 years ago, I left my home, met President Okanogi, met Amakasa, and at some point that adventure became wrapped in the illusion of the witch. However, here I am. Ushumiya Ava's diary is here. The truth inside it is sitting right before me. Rest for a while. Even I don't have enough free time to spend it all with you. Well, I'm not really tired. Erica? Serve Angie some tea or something. Yes, Master. Erica popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master. Baron Castell, if you're planning to use me to steal both the key and the book, you won't get off easily. How dare you say such a thing to my master? Sorry. After my long experience with witches, I've decided not to trust normal words. Very well. I'll promise it with the red truth. When the seal on the book of the single truth is dissolved, you, Angie, will be the first to read it. Is that good enough for you? For some time, Angie considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There's no guarantee greater than a witch's red truth. Angie understood this well enough. If she started to doubt even this red truth, there would be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If she began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be truth. Is there something more you want? No, I'm fine. If she wanted to read the Book of the Single Truth, she would need Baron Castell's assistance. Angie finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and annoying this witch further. Once you've dissolved the barrier, call me right away. Of course. I also want to read it as soon as possible. I'll call for you all at once. Baron spun away from them, then vanished into the dark bookshelf trench. Angie saw a school of emerald green fish appear and follow behind Baron Castell. Those be her familiars. As she stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep-sea fish, Angie was poked from behind. Let's go, Comrade Angie. You're creeping me out, so please just call me Angie. Then you can call me Erica-sama. Let's get going, Comrade Erica. The pair began to swim in the direction Erica indicated. Swim seemed a better word than fly. Just what is this place? It's way too big to be called a library. It's not like you'll be able to remember its name, so why not just call it the library? I'll decide what I can or can't remember then. Thanks. Tell me. It's the great witch of theater-going, drama and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books. Yep, the library's good, I guess. Knew you'd say that. Big library. The city of books. Yeah, that name fits. The bookshelves on either side of the canyon are skyscrapers. If I think of these as emerald green lights flowing between us and headlights on a highway, then this really does seem like a city of books. These aren't normal books, are they? That's right. Each volume is packed with an ensemble play. They look like books from here, but if you open one up, you'll find a whole world inside. So even our long tale is only one of these. Great witches who live on a far, far higher plane than we do are hardly any different from a creator or a god. From their perspective, our little tale is worth little more than a single book, if even that. From a theatergoer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're recording an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line. But we're the main characters. I am, and so are you. That's right. Even in the Tale of the Gods doesn't mention us. We're always the main characters in the stories we write for ourselves. Becoming aware of that fact is the first thing that separates witches from humans. They were on a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf, with no guardrail along the cliff. It didn't go in very deep, so it looked like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with the tools of everyday life, as though this was Erica's hidden house. My master has ordered me to serve you some tea. If you don't feel like drinking, I'll have to pour it into you with a funnel. If you try, I'll serve you some matcha. Matcha? Nothing, just talking to myself. Ignoring Erica as she made tea, Angie looked down upon a bizarre, otherworldly scene below. Until Erica finished getting the tea ready, the scene held Angie's gaze like it was sucking out her soul. This might sound strange coming from me. Go on. You actually made a deal to throw away your life to learn the truth, huh? That's impressive. I had nothing to gain from life. It was easy for me to trade away the time I had left. My master really does take to idle whims. To think she'd make a contract for the meaningless life of a powerless girl. Angie chuckled, not bothering to argue. This was exactly right. How incredible that Baron Castell would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away. Well, my master is the witch who controls miracles. So, it makes sense that she'd appear even for a worthless girl like you. Good point. Even if Baron Castell hadn't appeared, I still would have taken that step off the edge that day. You really are a cheap and easy woman, aren't you? Well then, just how much are you worth? Me? The way Erica cackled was disturbing. Still, Angie realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. If they're capable of living, all people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when the road to living as a witch opens up. Even Furuto Erica, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth, sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other, are exactly the same. That's sad. When you give up on your life as a human, that's when you start your life as a witch. That's really sad. I like exposing the truth. I know that. I like exposing secrets, then watching those people turn pale as they wonder how I figured it out. That's when I know I've reached the truth, and it's a moment of ecstasy. There's something seriously wrong with you. Well, what does the truth mean to you then? Angie was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit back on her words. Then she gulped, not knowing how to respond. After all, to Angie, the truth was the goal. At first, it was out of hatred. Could Ushumiya Eva, the sole survivor of Rokonjima, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Eva, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Eva never talked about what happened on that island. So at first, the truth meant proof that Eva was the culprit, at least in Angie's eyes. However, that feeling withered away with Eva's death. Now that Eva was dead, even if Angie did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't even mean anything. So eventually, the truth Angie wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on that island that day. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, that wouldn't bring any of her family back to her. It might not mean anything at all. You're going to expose the truth your beloved Oni-chan is hiding, even though it's meaningless? You're the one who's not making any sense. Erica laughed mockingly. Angie laughed too, as though she agreed. And so, my own truth became my goal. Maybe you could even call it my reason for living. So once you do reach the truth, there won't be any point or purpose to living anymore, right? That's right. So, I'll die. Hasn't it been long enough? I've already lived 12 years too long. Don't I at least deserve to have a witch appear and grant my wish in my final moments? To put it simply, you're just tired of life. Does that sum it up? Yeah. So both my reason for living and my very existence are both completely meaningless. That's what this goal of finding the Book of the Single Truth has put a little sparkle back into my life. Now that it's nearly over. At least on that score, I'm grateful to Baron Castell. I see. Battler wants you to live, so he hid the goal line, He hid the goal line that would lead you to death. I think for the first time I pity Battler-san. After all, you can't choose your little sister. Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. For 12 whole years, I've been living off of nothing but the illusion that someone might come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day is how I've chosen to mark the end of my life. For 12 years I believed in a miracle, but there was no miracle. I won't believe in miracles anymore. The Book of the Single Truth, huh? Of course, I'm also dying to find out what's in it. But from what I hear, it doesn't sound like the truth inside is something spectacular to mark the end of your life with. Yeah. At first, I hoped there would be something earth-shattering in it. But now I've calmed down a little, I guess you could say. Any truth searched for by a worthless person is bound to be worthless. It'll probably make for a fitting end to your worthless life. Rude. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Angie was already starting to realize something. Regardless of Ava's reason for staying silent, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made a bomb in that secret underground base explode. Yes, it was just an accident. But then, the public already believed that some sort of conspiracy surrounding the events of that day, so that's what they expected. Ava was suspect herself, so of course no one would believe her claim that nothing strange happened. Naturally, Angie didn't believe it either. In that case, shutting up like a clam would be better than the alternative. It was hardly surprising that Ava chose to say nothing. Right now, I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. I just feel sort of worn out and listless. Being able to withstand the truth is what makes someone a witch of truth, Comrade Angie. It looks like you didn't possess that strength after all. If you did, you wouldn't be thinking about dying. You're right. I've dreamed that someone might come back for 12 years. I've just used Beatrice's cat box to shut away the truth, denying it for all that time. When you read the Book of the Single Truth, I wonder what will happen to you. Who knows? Won't Bernd Castell carry out the contract by slicing my head off with a scythe or something? Or will I be turned into chunks of meat again? Maybe I'll get some salt and pepper this time. I see. So that's where the chunks of meat thing comes from. Did you say something? Nope, nothing at all. Anyway, would you like some more tea? No, thank you. Angie listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail, down into the darkness of the abyss at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. From the beginning until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will end soon. What are those lines of light flowing around at the bottom? Oh, those? Probably a group of guests coming to the Great Lady Aurora's party. Guests? Great witches from the Senate, Voyager's witches who are trying to escape the boredom of their endless travels. Powerful witches who have woken from century-long sleeps, as well as witches who control the future world and noble witch hunters. It seems she's planning to hold a grand party tonight. What is it, like a birthday party or something? From what I've heard, while the Great Lady Beatrice, the Endless Witch, is an outsider among witches, she's also the genius who created Beatrice's cat box out of her formidable magical compendium, an endless factory capable of producing endless tales. From my point of view, she's just stupid and a weak finisher, but in the world of great witches, she's apparently pretty famous. So this is Beatrice's birthday party? My master says she'll be holding a dinner party with Beatrice's guts. After all, it's only natural, right? The cat box was only able to generate infinite tales because there was no single truth. However, tonight, the single truth will be revealed, thanks to your key. And that means the cat box will be opened. Really, it's no different from slicing open her chest as she still lives and tearing out what's inside. Everyone in that huge crowd that looks like a packed freeway is going to go to one dinner party? I'm not sure what's stronger, my shock at how famous Beatrice is, or my revulsion at those sleazebags. For you, the Book of the Single Truth is nothing more than an end. However, for all of these enjoying the mystery of Rokkenjima, this is an event that can't be missed. I see. So that's a crowd of those goats who were chewing Oni-chan's game board apart. Angie's analogy was an accurate one. The crowd far below them was made up of nobles wearing beautiful outfits and goat masks. They were all so intent on tearing the guts out of Beatrice's cat box that they couldn't even hide the drool trickling from their mouths. These gluttonous goat nobles, who derived pleasure from the violin of exposing the truth, were in a line of cars heading toward the meeting place. It looks like this is the end for Beatrice and the cat box. Beato and the others have holed up in the Golden Land, the last remnants of the game board. Battler and Beato have strengthened their defenses and have destroyed the first wave, but they won't be able to stop the second. My master has given me an armada capable of destroying the very concept of defensive measures. The Golden Land's ramparts are as good as gone. Those goats who appeared all over the island, they're the personification of random opinions in the future, and all of them want this island's tale to be a tragedy. That's right. Those goats keep getting born from the sea of the internet. The first wave was just the riffraff. The second wave will be entirely different. It's made up of the best, elite goats selected from the crowd that are capable of denying all the cowering pieces one by one. In total, they number in the hundreds of thousands. 100,000 people to deny the existence of a few dozen hiding on an island. Looks like this is it for Oni-chan then. Are you sure you're ready? You understand that Ushimiya Battler died in 1986, and that this man is an illusion created by the cat box, right? Yeah, I understand that. Regardless of whether he's my real brother or an illusion, regardless of whether he's who I'd like him to be or not, the battler who created this game board for my sake will be dying. No. I'm just going to accept the fact that he already was dead, so it's not like he's actually going to die. Angie thought to herself, shouldn't performing her brother's last rites be her responsibility? This was her final trial, which she had assigned to herself. All of those people down there on the game board were the personification of Angie's naivety. By denying the existence of all of them, wouldn't she finally be able to accept the truth? No, that's not right. I'm not being honest, even with myself. That bizarre Halloween party may have been an illusion, but that didn't make it any less heartwarming. Oni-chan said it himself. True, that Halloween party may have been an illusion. However, he was trying to use that party to tell me something. About that second wave. My master has appointed me to be their commander. Leave it to me, Angie. My master isn't so malicious that she'd make you dirty your own hands. Yes, that might be kind of her. These are my lingering attachments we're talking about. I should be grateful to Bern Castell. If she were really cruel, she would probably have ordered me to take charge of the second wave and execute my own family. Comrade Angie, you're a witch of truth, aren't you? That's right. Probably. Then accept the truth, okay? Finally, after 12 years, the single truth lies before you. I'll just sit here until Bern Castell breaks the seal. You'll probably be summoned as a guest for the party. We've got a mirror, so maybe you should wipe the sleep from your eyes. And maybe you should shave before heading out to battle. It floated there in the empty air, the door to the Golden Land. And at its base, there was nothing except some floor tiling about as thick as a rug, so it was fairly hard to imagine that this was Kinzo's study. By this point, all of the game board except the Golden Land had been eaten away, leaving only this door floating in a sea of nothingness. There were two shapes in front of that door. They were Battler and Beato. They may not have been literally covered with wounds, but they definitely seemed to be dead tired. Battler, leaning against the door, seemed to have finally caught his breath. Beato was also sitting against the door, letting her legs dangle gracelessly. Could this battle against that force really be called a battle? It was more like a mere pushing contest on the increasingly small bit of ground that remained. They had wanted to protect at least Kinzo's study, no matter what. And the only fruit of their desperate struggle was the thin bit of flooring that they were sitting on now. Those goats fell into the abyss whenever they had nowhere to stand. So now, with so much of the floor gone, there was no way for them to attack anymore. If Battler thought this, his naive hopes were quickly crushed. Looks like we're surrounded. They probably planned to gather their forces and crush us in a single stroke. Boat. Stretching across the ocean horizon that surrounded the door at their backs was an encirclement of countless large sailing ships. As they could clearly see, the decks of these ships were packed with goats, with some more foolish and overeager, spilling over the edges into the emptiness below. Dang. I've gone through a lot of crazy stuff in your games, but being surrounded by pirate ships is definitely a first for me. They probably do possess the strength to break through the Golden Land's perimeter. Those cannons are no bluff. Doubtless, they will be able to use those to smash through the door and pour in. Along the sides of each ship were several open gun ports, each with a cannon pointed at the door. If this many ships all sail around them and fired at once, there was no point trying to imagine what would happen next. Battler and Beato grimaced and hung their heads. How long will the Golden Land perimeter hold out against these cannons? I do not know. However, since they are still awaiting reinforcements after amassing that many soldiers, I doubt the barrier will break that easily. True. I can't think of any other reason to delay your attack without even sending terms for surrender. I hope we can take advantage of the time they've given us. Time is always the ally of the weaker side. After all, we can always hope for a miracle. Though it might just lead us further into despair. At that moment, something small and hard hit Battler in the forehead. Ow. The heck is this? Conpeto? It's me! I know where Baron and the others are. The candy was Lambda Delta's transformed body. She was only one of the only allies capable of crossing the Sea of Fragments. Oh, spectacular! That's the great Lady Lambda Delta for you. They can see us here. Let's talk inside. This is starting to get messy. Got it. Is anyone there? When Battler knocked on the door, it opened, and Shannon and Cannon came into view. You called for us? My apologies, but we need you two to keep a lookout. Leave it to us. When they begin their attack, don't worry about fighting them. Escape to the Golden Land as soon as they start. Don't worry about closing the door. But that means they're planning to ignore the door and smash the Golden Land directly. Making a last stand here won't do it any good. Understood. We'll take care of things here, so go inside and work on a counterattack. We shall. We're counting on you. Battler and Beato traded places with Shannon and Cannon and returned to the Golden Land. A gentle rain poured down over the Golden Land's rose garden. The weather here reflected the hearts of those inside it. Quietly falling raindrops spoke for the pain felt by those who could do nothing but hide here, waiting for the enemy's final assault. When they returned to the arbor, that piece of Conpeto flew out of Battler's pocket, jumped onto the table, and returned to its original form. I haven't had a thrill like this for years. Hard to believe I'd find myself in such a tense situation, even after becoming a witch. Let's get down to business. Where the heck are Angie and Brinkerstow? They're in the City of Books. I've heard of it. They say it's a place where great witches, travelers of the sea, store countless fragments in the form of books. You mean the Great Witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books, yes? The Great Lady Aurora is the ruler of the City of Books. Indeed, that would be a fitting place for those two to go. Nice going, Lady Lambda Delta. Hard to believe you could pick out that spot so quickly from all the other possible hiding places. Actually, it was pretty easy. I didn't even have to search, since they're advertising it as loud as they can. They're planning a huge party to celebrate the announcement of a great secret. The secret to the catbox of the great Lady Beatrice, the Endless Witch. I see. They have been delaying their attack because they await reinforcements, but rather because the party has not yet begun. So in this party, they plan to use Angie's key and reveal the contents of the Book of the Single Truth? You've got it. Aurora hasn't held an event like this for ages, and she's gathering VIP guests from all over the place. The Book of the Single Truth will probably be the party's final showpiece. That means we still have a shot at taking Angie and the key back. Time-wise, that may be true. However, there's a really simple and obvious problem. What's that? The City of Books is a sacred realm under the supervision of the Senate. It's protected by a holy barrier. Only a witch of the Senate can enter it. Have they invited any non-senators to the party? They have. It looks like they're being given special invitations, which allow them to enter the special realm for a limited time. Invitations? My. Now this could be interesting. That's what I thought. However, there's a strict policy on punctuality. So these invitations automatically become useless unless you present them before the party begins.
そしてお気の毒なことに
And I'm afraid to say that the party started a short while ago. In other words, it's too late to try stealing an invitation from a guest who's running late.
そういうこと
That's right. So what do we do now?
これから誰かポップコーンを
Could someone get me popcorn? I'd like some candy flavor this time. As an outsider, I hate to barge into this conversation, but we seem to have no options left.
私たち
We're already done for, aren't we?
もうここで座って
Can't we do anything except sit here until they attack? There must be something we can do.
そうね
That's right.
私たちに
There's just one thing we can do.
一つそれは
That we can crash that party.
1分1秒でも終わる
We can keep on struggling for each second of survival and hope for a miracle.
奇跡
A miracle?
つまり
So we're stuck defending the Alamo.
私たちに
Surrender isn't an option.
できるのは
We can only hold out as long as we can, waiting for a miracle.
うりゅう
But you? What kind of miracle?
何エンジェが
Well, there's a chance, maybe one in a million, that Angie will change her mind for some reason and come back.
万分の
With probabilities such as that, it truly would be a miracle.
それ私たち
We
は
are here to await Angie's return. Yes. This right here is the only place Angie can call home. So we must defend it to the last minute, waiting for her to come back.
留守を追わず
Awaiting the return of one's master is a servant's duty.
ここ
Now that we are here, I, Goda, am prepared for whatever may come.
バトラー様
Battler,
我ら一
all of us are prepared.
すでに覚悟
シエスタ
We of the Chester Sisters Imperial Guard will fulfill our oath and remain by the great Lady Beatrice's side until the bitter end.
45
45 here, no problems.
最後まで戦
I will fight until the end.
うようやく
Finally, a fitting place to dine, yeah?
ちんまる
No problems from 410, yeah?
煉獄の
The seven sisters of Purgatory will stay with Beatrice and Battler until it's all over. The 6 younger sisters also showed their resolve with their eyes.
アイゼルネ
Eisenherr and Jungfrau will serve until the end.
元 SS
The former SSVDs got your back too.
そしてあなたも
And I ask that you lend us your power as well.
私たちに力を私
Me? No way.
偵察して
Didn't I just give you some excellent intel?
それで私
I think I've done more than my fair share, don't you?
あなたは
How do you know that Angie is in the City of Books?
もちろん
I saw her with my own eyes, of course. I never trust anything unless I see it for myself.
ということは
Which means you're qualified to enter this sacred realm called the City of Books, right?
入るしかそうと
Indeed. The great Lady Lambda Delta is a witch of the Senate, after all.
ラムダデルタ
Lambda Delta,
何よあんたたち
what's with you guys? You aren't gonna tell me to do more work, are you?
これは
My, what an unexpected development.
図書の
Lady Lambda Delta is the only one who can enter the City of Books.
ということは
Could that possibly mean
ラムダ
that this is Lady Lambda Delta's time to shine?
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ
Enough kidding around. Are you people crazy?
私が
You're telling me to go, all by myself, and sneak in there one more time? And then bring Angie back out here? The several dozen people surrounding Lambda Delta all nodded in unison.
バカも休
How
み
stupid can you
エ
be?
ンジを助け出すってことは
If I save Angie, it'll be crashing the Great Aurora's party. Don't you get it?
私に世界
I'd have the whole world as my enemy.
私に味
And
方
what's in it for me?
ないわ
Nothing, obviously. There's nothing you could possibly offer me that'd be worth getting on the bad side of Aurora and her monster friends.
ガイアウロー
You'll get to see a happy ending, where Aurora and Berncastell's schemes are crushed.
エンジェちゃんを連れ
Angie comes back, and everyone makes peace with one another.
どうである
What do you say, Lady Lambda Delta? There could be no greater thrill. If you pulled off such a marvelous feat,
そなたも
you would be able to forget your illness for 1,000 years, would you not?
いるのでは
頼む
We're begging you, Lambda Delta. Lend us your power. Please, we're begging you. And chat's begging too. Help us save Angie. Everyone surrounded Lambda Delta, asking for her help.
どうか頼む
Please, Lady Lambda Delta. Only you can do this.
力を貸す
Give us your strength.
俺がお前
I'll show you the greatest of tales.
そいつを
And you'll get to see it from the front row.
だから
So
力を
please,
貸してくれ
lend us your strength.
うるさい
Shut up.
黙れ
Shut the hell up. Lambda Delta leapt to her feet and crushed the cup of popcorn in her hands. Sweet, candy-flavored popcorn flew all over the place, hitting everyone in the face. It might have looked funny. However, no one laughed. Lambda Delta's face was filled with a rage that none of them had seen before.
勘違いしないで
Please, stop getting the wrong idea. I'm a spectator. A spectator. I'm just a guest who was invited by Beato to come and watch this game. So why should I risk my life for you people? You think you'll get a happy ending if Angie comes back? Are you really that stupid? Baron and her forces will come sweeping through here, mad with rage, and wipe us all out. There's only one reason I'm here, and that's because Leon over there said I'd get to see an interesting show. Yeah, and now I'm sure I'll get to see a sublimely interesting tale very soon. A sad, sad tragedy as you fight desperately against Baron's forces and get wiped out, one by one. Oh, I'm sure you'll each get at least one last time to shine as you're torn apart. If I just wait a little, I'll get to see all that, won't I? Pretty soon, all of you will be dead. But not me. I'm a spectator, a guest. There's absolutely no reason for me to die with you. Just kidding? Just kidding? No one was able to say a word. In the still silence, there was no sound except that of the rain. Even Lambda Delta finally hung her head in dismay. I'm sorry. I'm totally lame, aren't I? Aw. Sure, if I stood up right now and said, leave it to me, my popularity would surge, and I'd probably make it to the top 3 in the next character ranking contest. So true. But still, unlike the rest of you, I'm not a character who appears in the story. I can't die. It's like it's midnight, and you're telling me that the climax of the show is coming up next. But tomorrow's Monday, and I've got cleaning duty at school. We live in completely different worlds. And so... Lambda Delta staggered as though dizzy, then plopped down in a chair. Then she became expressionless like a doll, just staring at a single point in space silently. Sorry. Battler softly apologized. However, Lambda Delta remained expressionless. It's not fair for us to force you to risk something on your own. Not when we haven't exhausted all of our options yet. We'll fight here and defend this spot until the last moment. We'll believe in the miracle of Angie choosing us over the single truth. If we weren't prepared to do that, we could hardly ask you to give up your life along with the rest of us. Battler rose from his seat and spun around. Battler, I'll switch places with the pair outside. When the enemy comes, I want to be on the front lines. That's the fastest and most direct way I can show Lambda Delta my determination. I shall go as well. Teacher, please find Lady Lambda Delta some more popcorn. Beto. I know Angie will return. Without belief, even miracles that might have occurred will not. You can't win a lottery unless you buy a ticket. Beto also stood up and followed Battler. Everyone, let's do what we can to prepare for the fight. Yeah. It'd be stupid to just sit around here doing nothing. Good point. Let's all give him a good show at the end. We've got to make sure there's a place Angie can call home. We should hold a strategic conference, too. Yeah. We have furniture, weapons, demons, and inquisitors on our side. There's got to be some way for the mismatched forces to cooperate. Let's go, little sisters. Break time is over. Siesta troops, rise. The humans and illusions all rose to their feet and left the arbor. Afterwards, only Lambda Delta remained, still staring blankly at that point in empty space. I hope she comes and helps. The black tea smells nice. Is it instant or from a tea bag? Oh, would you like some, Comrade Ava? We're out of cups, so you'll have to use a funnel. A cold butterfly drifted into the balcony and turned into Ava. How's Baron Castell doing? Will it be a while longer before she breaks the seal on the Book of the Single Truth? That's what I came to talk about. She says the seal has been broken. Congratulations, so the time has finally come. The period to mark the end of your life. Take the key and go to Lady Baron Castell. One of her cat familiars will guide you. 2 emerald sparkles flew in. They were the green glinting eyes of a black cat. The cat flicked its tail elegantly, with the dignity of a high-class attendant. Got it. Then I'll be back in a bit. Angie rose from her seat. She did it casually, as though she really was just heading out for a short trip. However, her lips would probably never touch her half-finished cup of tea again. We weren't together long, but I enjoyed it. Getting to learn what disgust for your own kind is like was an enlightening experience. I hate you so much. Same here. Next time we meet, you'll have to teach me the trick to making tea this terrible. Are you happy? Now you'll finally get to learn that secret you've been hiding for the past 12 years. I've been hiding from you for the past 12 years. I am happy. Yeah. Now I can understand how Erika feels. It's like I'm taking a shot back at you, exposing the secret that you kept until your death. Is it a good feeling? Well, it's better than nothing. Angie nodded towards the black cat to let it know that she was ready. The cat nodded back in a refined manner, indicating that it wanted Angie to follow, and leapt from the balcony. Without turning back, Angie followed it, jumping out into the air as though swimming. Ava watched her go. An expression of ridicule and scorn failed to cross her face. Good luck, Angie. This is the path you've chosen. You aren't 6 years old anymore. You're 18. Choose how to live your own life. What an overprotective aunt you are. I'm gonna watch the ceremony. What about you? It's almost time to begin the attack, so I'm heading for the ships. I've got to go pick up Beto's corpse. Everyone at the party can have her guts, but I get to keep her skin, so let's stuff and mount it. So even Rokkenjima's tale, which was wrapped in a veil of mysteries, is about to meet its end. Which means it's also the end for you. I mean, you are a piece from there, right? A piece is all I am. The role of the piece is to remain faithful to its role until the game ends. It's not a piece's place to worry about what happens after the game is over. True. And it's the same for me. Let's both enjoy the time while we have it. Allow me to take my leave. Later. Good luck with your work. After exchanging elegant bows, the two witches vanished at the same time. Nothing remained except some half-finished teacups and the aroma of the tea itself. One after another, luxury cars stepped in front of a high-class hotel in the city. Guests began to step out of them. Whoa. Hey, Professor Otsuki. Oh, what a surprise. I haven't seen you since the last convention. It's the Witch Hunters convention. All of the guests gathered here were very rich and cultured. A single hobby tied all of them together. They were witch hunters. Like-minded people who enjoyed exploring various interpretations of the Rokkenjima mystery. Still, I wonder if it's really true. To think that this diary of Ushiromiya Ava's actually exists. True. I've heard the rumors myself. This is that legendary secret diary, which Ushiromiya Ava hid away just before her death. It is said she recorded the details of Rokkenjima's truth in there. Just like that fable of the king with the donkey's ears. Humans are tragic creatures, incapable of keeping truly silent regarding secrets that only they know. From what I've heard, a collector from Dubai offered to buy it for $10 million. Incredible. More evidence of the fascination that the Rokkenjima mystery is capable of stirring. Conversations like this were breaking out passionately all over the place. Furthermore, it wasn't just guests who were allowed to enter. The press was also there in force. The Rokkenjima mystery was such a large movement that it became a social phenomenon at one point. Though it had died down slightly in recent years, it was still a topic fiercely debated across the internet. It was hardly any surprise that the discovery and imminent release of Ushiromiya Ava's diary, which contained the truth of that mystery, had caused an uproar. And on top of all of that, the mysterious forger Ito Ikukuro was there to appear publicly for the first time. In fact, it seemed like Ito Ikukuro and Hachijo Toya, the up-and-coming mystery novelist, were the same person. Of course, this meant that Hachijo Toya would also be appearing in public for the first time. Though she was thought to be a male author, the fact that she was actually a mysterious woman author alone was enough to cause a stir. Before the diary unveiling party, a press conference was held at one of the rooms of the hotel. Indeed, I am Hachijo Toya. Madam Hachijo, we now know that in your previous book signings, you were so determined not to show yourself that you even used a body double. So what has caused you to change your mind and appear before us this time? The legend of the Rokkenjima witch has given birth to endless tales. Considering the weight of such a legend's demise, and being the mere writer that I am, I felt obligated to show myself as a sign of respect. As a forger, you announced on the web that you had reached the truth. Does that mean you've already read the contents of that diary? And very soon, those contents will be revealed to everyone. Pardon me for asking, but is there any guarantee that the contents of this diary are true? One might view it as nothing more than a personal account from a single deceased person. Not at all. I guarantee it. The truth is recorded in this diary. Oh, she said it in red. Oh, as stir passed through the crowd as the room was suddenly filled with camera flashes. This ends Madam Hachijo's interview. Allow us to express our deep gratitude towards all members of the press for coming on this day. And now, we would like to move on and allow you to take photos of Madam Ushiromiya Eva's diary. A hotel worker pushed forward a cart covered by a veil. Then after looking to Hachijo for approval, he removed the veil. There lay Ushiromiya Eva's diary. The book of the single truth sat there, waiting for its seal to be released. Hachijo held it to her chest and laughed enigmatically. Camera flashes came from everywhere, making the book of the single truth glint. And that's all for now. If you would all please move to the assembly hall. Still holding the diary, Hachijo left the press conference room, escorted by men from the hotel. Until she went through a door that said authorized personnel only, the journalists continued to surround her and ask questions, hoping to gather just one final comment. When the door slammed shut, the world's twisted. The hotel employees became black cats wearing capes. Hachijo turned into Featherine. Things are getting pretty crazy out there. Did you enjoy it? How tiring. Still, that went well. And yes, this diary truly is heavy. Featherine tossed the diary, and Baron Castell caught it. I will rest in one of the waiting rooms. You're going to be up again pretty soon. There's no time to rest. In that case, call it a short break so I can properly enjoy this long-awaited excitement. I need to borrow that book. I promised Angie that I'd show her first. I see. In that case, do as you please. Featherine left, followed by her cat attendants. After watching her until she was out of sight, Baron Castell disappeared as well. Like Erika's room, Baron Castell's was a balcony without a handrail, dug out of a bookshelf cliff. Angie had been kept waiting for some time, but she had waited patiently, looking down at the world below her. I'm late, aren't I? Sorry about that. After Baron Castell appeared, the black cat gave a bow and vanished. Here you go. I've brought it with me. The book of the single truth. Can I touch it? Do as you like. Baron Castell set it on the table and beckoned Angie forward. Slowly, Angie approached it. So this is on Eva's diary. That's right. Inside it, you'll find the single truth that you wanted. You do have the key, right? Yes, right here. Angie took the key out, looked at it there on her palm, and gripped it tightly. Even the heavy lock that held the diary so securely was fated to be swept aside easily as soon as Angie readied herself. I won't rush you. You don't have to open it until you're ready. This includes the truth of what happened at midnight on October 5th, 1986, right? Yes. It's everything that you wanted to know so much you offered up your life. In that instant, two Angies appeared inside of her, taking control of her body at the same time. On one hand, she knew that she had already paid a great price to learn the truth. This part of her gripped the key, wanting to avoid a second of hesitation that might lead her to refuse to learn the truth now. In that final moment, with the book of the single truth right before her. On the other hand, a feeling as though she was betraying the brother and family who watched over her warmly made her bite her lower lip. However, though she shook, she could do nothing but watch as her right hand slowly brought the key towards the lock. What am I hesitating for? Inside this diary is the final destination of my sad, painful, 12-year-long journey. Wasn't 12 years enough? Do I want to keep living that way? That brother is an illusion created by my heart. My naive hope that a miracle might still occur. I put my two options on a scale, and then the path I should choose is clear. Slowly, I push the key into the lock and twist. The lock opened with a click, and at the same time, it felt as though a crack ran through the key in my hands. Maybe a part of that intricate design had fallen off. I couldn't tell where it was broken just by glancing at it. However, for some reason, its golden glint seemed to have dulled somehow. It's because you made the choice with that key. A bit of magic has disappeared. What kind of magic? Didn't Battler tell you? He said you couldn't hand that over to anyone else. That magic, which left the decision to you, has just fulfilled its role and disappeared. That key is just a key now. It can't do anything but lock and unlock that diary. I see. Then I guess I have no more use for Oni-chan's key. Can I have it? Once you've read the diary, I'll lock it up again. Opening that lock will be a big part of tonight's ceremony, it seems. I see. Do whatever you want. I don't give a damn what happens after I find the truth. Baron Castell slid the key from where it lay on the table and put it into her pocket. Go ahead then. Before the courage that led you here fades. I lifted up Aunt Ava's now unlocked diary. The lock was unset. Even the hinge had been released by now. Nothing stands in the way of me opening to the pages within. I thought of taking a deep breath. However, I decided against it. I prepared myself for this long ago. It'd be stupid to fuel my reluctance further. I opened it, violently, ruthlessly. I knew that this was the right way to open the pages that held the truth. As soon as the cover was opened, a brilliant light poured out and my mind went hazy. The truth was sent into my mind directly, without letters or words. Tell me what happened that day on Rokkenjima. They did find it. They found the gold. There was death. My consciousness returned gradually. Nothing was written on the open book before me. Of course, this was my own blank and empty notebook. I was at school. Oh no, I was at school sitting idly with my notebook open. The world had stopped. The hands on the clock had stopped too. In that case, the auditorium should have been filled with silence. However, I could hear a small commotion. In this world of suspended time, I could see dark shapes sneaking about in the shadows of the unmoving students. They were students with goat heads. Whoa. They were sneaking glances at me from behind the frozen students, whispering something to each other. I know. I can hear them. Everybody knows. One after another, students with goat heads grew out of shadow all over the room. They slipped around the students, stopped in time, and gathered around me. Then they all jeered out something in unison, and as if they knew I could hear, showered me with giggles and gossip and sneers. However, nothing that came from the goats' mouths reached my ears as words. This was a world without letters or words, so no words reached me. However, their emotions and meanings did reach me, so I knew what it was they were saying. And then, when I was able to visualize it, one after another, the goats opened their massive jaws, showing their fangs that drip with saliva, and came forward to bite me. Time was stopped for me. I was aware, but I could not move. This wasn't literally true. However, I was pretending that I couldn't hear, so I couldn't move. The goats bit me all over my body, leaving their fang marks, licking me. Maybe they didn't like the taste of my clothes. Taking advantage of the fact that I couldn't move, they chewed through my clothes one by one. Over and over again, the goats stuck their tongues, their jaws, their fangs into my naked body. I was covered with drool and bitten all over. Bright red teeth marks were left behind as sharp fangs pierced my skin, leaving trails of blood. They licked up the blood like real goats, hurting and humiliating me. As I hung my head, one of the goats pulled on my hair, forcing me to look up, and spoke. They didn't say it with concepts, but with words I could hear. However, they weren't words of the human world. They were a witch's words. The red truth, which signifies truth that is certain. Whoa. This is the truth of the Rokkenjima incident. I won't accept it. It doesn't matter if you accept it or not. This is the truth. After all, blank, 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 blank. After all. She knows the truth now. I won't accept it. I won't accept it. A truth like that I won't accept. Whether you accept it or not, that doesn't change the truth. After all, this is the single truth, proven in red. Oh, haunting. Who cares about the truth? So stupid and pointless. I'm the one who gets to decide if it's true or not, right? Even if it's red truth, I just won't acknowledge it. I won't forgive it, and I definitely won't accept it. The red truth is absolute? Who for? It's absolute for you guys, right? Not for me. I won't let you contaminate my truth with yours. Angie, calm down. You're the one who wanted to know, right? My truth is that Aunt Ava's the culprit. Aunt Ava killed everyone. Everything's her fault. Dad and Mom and Oni-chan and all the others are just victims. It's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. Of course it isn't. Your aunt will always be on your side, Angie. Yeah, I get it now. I know what you mean. That's right, Aunt Ava. You're the culprit. You're the culprit. It's the world that messed up and is broken for not realizing that. I'm the right one. I'll just deny the red truth and deny the whole world. I see. In that case, try writing a red truth only you can write. But how is that possible for a human to write with red truth? It is possible. There's a red ink that only humans can write with. Angie, please calm down. I'm the right one. The world's wrong. I'll write it. I'll record the truth with the real red truth. 20. Requesting urgent support on the roof. Angie, hold on. Please think this over. Look out. Goodbye, Angie. Have a nice day. Oh, shit. I'll write it out. This is my blood red truth. I'll never accept the truth of your world. Angie's body went past the edge of the balcony. The air, which she had once been able to swim through, was now completely merciless for some reason. Angie's body plunged straight into the darkness below. Bern Castell just watched the scene play out in silence. Behind her, men in black suits rushed up to the fence, clutching it and screaming. 20! Angie jumped off? Damn, I can't see her from here. Quickly, investigate the ground. It's no use. There's no way. Maybe she was caught by that safety net. Let's make sure. What fools. If you jump straight down from this height, do you really think such a flimsy safety net could possibly save you? As the Witch of Miracles, I, Baron Castell, guarantee that such a miracle certainly won't occur. Angie's body fell from the skyscraper-like bookshelf and slammed against the floor of the City of Books. Looking down from Bern Castell's balcony, which was as high as the skyscraper's roof, did it look like a lovely red pressed flower? No, you couldn't see it at all. Just like how the death of a single lonely girl who rejected the world didn't matter to anyone in the world. She probably died instantly. It was only natural. She had fallen straight down from this height after all. Is it even conceivable that she wouldn't die instantly after something like that? The index finger on the right hand of her corpse stuck out, as though it was tracing something. Could it be that by some impossible miracle, she really had escaped instant death? And could red blood that drained from her at the moment of her death been the ink that drew her own personal red truth? Aww. However, no one would ever be able to tell what she had written. After all, the red blood pouring from her corpse had run all over it. Even this was one of your choices, Angie. Ava was looking down at the beautiful flower of blood radiating from Angie's corpse. I tried to keep you alive. However, you never tried to live in the future that began after the age of 6. And so, after 12 years, I finally returned to where you started. The eyes on Angie's corpse were closed. However, there was no way of knowing if this was a peaceful thing. Eventually, the corpse melted away. At the end, it had become a messy lump of flesh, with only a few parts recognizable as human. It was hardly surprising. How else would she look after falling from that height and slamming against the asphalt? You managed to die. However, this doesn't mean that everyone will be waiting for you in heaven. After all, you reached this place by rejecting all of those in heaven. See you in hell. No, that's probably where we are right now. So long, Angie. Ah, Ava. Perfect timing. Did you call for me, Master? Clean up this scrap meat for me, if you wouldn't mind. I'm gonna take this back. In Baron Castell's hand was the key, which had lost its magic when Angie made her decision, and the book of the single truth, which had been locked up again. As you wish, my master. After looking down one more time, Baron Castell vanished. Once she had gone, Ava summoned some cat familiars and ordered them to clean up. The black cats gathered Angie's flesh and scattered limbs and threw them into a tin bucket. Even in this miserable form, Angie's soul was still living. Perhaps living is a poor description, though. She was unable to die. From now on, forever, she would drift along in the deepest depths of oblivion, covered by the dust of oblivion until she finally disappeared. She continued to question herself. What did that truth mean to her? What was right, and where was the place she could call home? As her flesh began to cool, even the energy to ask those questions began to fade. Eventually, she would forget her everyday memories, and even the reason why she was suffering. However, there was one thing she would never forget. That was the anguish. From this point forth, she would suffer endlessly without even knowing why. By the time the cats finished flinging her corpse into the bucket and dumping it into the sea of nothingness, Angie had forgotten even her own name. That's so sad. What's this sound I keep hearing? Yeah, it must be the sound of rain. In that case, what are those two bright lights coming towards me? I don't know. However, they came in with me with a screeching sound, stopped right in front of me. Car? Blaring noise came at me over and over. Whatever's shining those bright lights is threatening me. Probably telling me to get out of the way. However, I was incapable of moving, even a finger. There was a sound of a car door opening. Car? Door? Apparently I was lying on the asphalt under pouring rain. A way to end the chapter. I mean, pretty clear, I think, what we can interpret this as. So, it seems like in 1998, it came about that Ava's diary was discovered and everybody cracked it open. And when the truth was revealed, which it's looking like the truth must have been that Rudolph and Kiri did kill everyone. Looking like when that truth was revealed, everybody gave Angie a ton of crap for it. She was the only surviving member of the Ushiromiya family, and her classmates and everyone around her kept saying, "Look at what your family did. Look, it's written in the diary. Look, it's true." She kept denying that truth. And eventually it got to her. It got to her so bad that she threw herself off the roof because she couldn't live with it anymore. A really sad story. Poor Angie. Well, thank you for joining. We have a couple more chapters left. We'll see how this ends up. We'll see where this goes. No stream until Thursday. We might finish the VN on Thursday. If we do, great. We'll finish it. If it just depends how much time it takes to like do everything and the tea party and everything. But I think there's only like 2 or 3 chapters left in the main stories. We'll do what we can of the main story. And tea parties. If we finish it, great. If not, we will finish it on Saturday. So stream on Thursday, stream on Saturday. We'll finish it on Saturday no matter what. Even if like Thursday is only an hour or 2 and we don't get much done. Saturday we will definitely be finishing it on appropriately October 5th. So Thursday, Saturday, those are the streams. And then I don't know what I'll do with myself from there. Maybe start practicing the fighting game. I don't know. Full-time Umineko content. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. I'm going to end it now. Get some sleep. And yeah, we'll see you all on Thursday. Bye-bye.